What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Mlb Power Rankings video. Again, these are always on Monday. I'm actually filming this on a Monday today because I didn't have my helmets because I was at the lake. But we're just gonna get right into it. Starting with number 30. This is probably the most obvious one. I think on a 6 or 7 game losing streak, the Angels swept by the Guardians, and then they got hammered by the Dodgers over the weekend. Not a very good look for the Angels. Number 29. I'm going to keep them there just for another week. But if they have another week like this, they will move up. I just got to see multiple weeks of it. But 2-2 against the Dodgers. Pretty good series. 2-1 against the Athletics in the rivalry series. That is a success. Number 28. I don't know if this team is trying to lose, but they're doing a good job at it. Miami Marlins. They went 1-2 against the top dog Rays. Yeah, they didn't have a good week this week at all. Miami, and then they have the Braves today. I think they're winning right now, actually, 4-0. So, at least that's good for them. But Miami, not very good. Next up, we got the Rockies. So the Rockies went 1-2 against Arizona, and they, at the beginning of the week, went 1-2 against the Pirates. They did crush them one game. Next up, number 26, we get the Houston Astros. The Astros 1-2 against 2-1 against Texas over the weekend. It's a pretty good series. So they are starting to turn a corner that they're not the worst team in the division, but they still have a case to be the worst. But I don't think they're going to be the worst in the division because the Angels exist. So, yeah, Astros, they still suck. Next, we got the Detroit Tigers. I don't know what's wrong with them. They had so many leads this week against the Mets, went 0-3, and then they went 1-2 against the Jays, blowing the game on Saturday. Tigers, big 4-game set against Cleveland, and then they play Baltimore at the end of the week, Orioles. But I don't think that the Tigers are as bad as they're going to be. I think all the injuries in the rotation, they're probably going to have to go 4-0 against Cleveland and then 2-1 against Baltimore minimum. But in some way, they have to find a way to go 6-1 this week, or somehow win all 7 games. I see them going like 4-3. They need to turn it around very fast. Next, we got the Royals. 0-3 against the White Sox, 1-2 against the Cardinals. I contemplated putting them in the bottom row, but I just decided not to because they did beat Detroit last week. But still, Royals not too good. Next up is the New York Mets. Again, what I just said, 3-0 against Detroit, and then they went 2-1 against the Yankees. Mets showing that they're not the worst team in baseball. I still think they're the worst in the National League East. Although Miami's making a case, I still think that the Mets are worse. Next, we got the Twins. The Twins had not too good of a week. They got beat up by the Brewers a bit. That's okay, though. And I forget who they played the first series of the week. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure they lost that one. Next, number 21, we get the Red Sox. 1-2 against the Braves. And at the beginning of the week, they went 1-2 against the Phillies. So, Boston, yeah, they really have fell very short of expectations. But yeah, maybe they can turn a corner here, but I don't know. Next up, we got Baltimore Orioles, 2-1 against the Yankees, big series, and then they went 1-2 against the Nationals. So they have a very good start. Everyone's fired up. They only almost swept the Yankees, and then they go in and almost get swept by the Nats. They probably should have won on Friday, but they didn't get enough offense in the first 8 innings of that game until the 9th inning. But yeah, Orioles, number 20. Number 19, the biggest riser of the week, I think, Chicago White Sox. They earned it. I said a few weeks ago, this team sucks. Really bad. Yeah, they're proving me wrong right now. Oh, yeah, they went 3-0 against the Royals, and then they went 2-1 against the Cubs, who, in my opinion, were the best team in the league, almost, besides the Braves, obviously. But no, White Sox, make it a case, maybe playoffs? That would be sick for the White Sox. Next, we got the Washington Nationals. 2-1 against Cincy, and then they went 2-1 against Baltimore. Had to move them up into the third row. This team just continues to win. And good on the Nationals. Like to see them doing well. Hope they could continue it into the Mets series this week. Next up, number 17. Got the Diamondbacks, as I mentioned earlier, 2-1 against Colorado. And they went 1-2 at the beginning of the week. But 2-1 against the Rangers. I think they played the Rangers, but Diamondbacks kind of just being average like they always are. Next team, the definition of average is the Texas Rangers. 1-2 against the lowly Astros. And then, like I just said, either 2-1 or 1-2 against the D-backs in the 2023 World Series rematch. But they're at least showing signs of that they're a decent team. But they're starting to kind of fall apart. Number 15, got the Cincinnati Reds. 1-2 against the Washington Nationals, and then they went 1-2 against Cleveland. Not a very successful week. Not a successful last 3 weeks for the Reds. And it's not going to get any easier this week with the Phillies. If they can at least win the series over the Phillies, I will have hope that this team could turn it around. But right now, I don't see it. Next up, we got the struggling Pittsburgh Pirates. They went 2-1 against Colorado, and then 0-3 against Philadelphia. Everyone's glazing the hell out of the Pirates. I don't think they're that good. I actually think that they're the worst team in the National League Central. I've seen so many people say the Cardinals are the worst. I don't know if they're actually watching the games because the Pirates got swept 4-0 by the Cardinals. And I'm seeing people saying that the Cardinals might not even win 80 games. Like, they're in second place in the division. I think people are on crack. But, yeah, Pirates struggling. Next. Can you see it? Cleveland. I know they had a good week. They didn't play that good competition. 3-0 against the worst team in baseball, the Angels. 2-1 against the Reds. That was a close series. Actually, they might have gone 1-2. No, because they won yesterday and then won on Saturday and lost Friday. Yeah, because the Reds almost blew that one game. But yeah, the Guardians having a good week. First in that division. I don't think they're going to hold it, though. Next, we get the A's. 1-2 against San Fran. And at the beginning of the week, I forget who they played. I think they did win the series, though. because they have just won series all over. They just won it every single time, it feels like. I gotta check here real quick. And I think they played. It might have been the Yankees low key, but I don't think it was. I think it was a National League team. But maybe it'll come to my mind when we get it next. Got probably the biggest riser of the week, I think. I know I said that about the White Sox. I forgot about the Phillies. Phillies, 2-1 against the Red Sox, 3-0 against Pittsburgh after being 10 games under 500. I think it was 2.5 weeks ago. This team has gone, I think, 15-4 since then. No series losses. Yeah, this team is firing on all cylinders. Next up, number 10. Might have them too high, but I don't care. The Jays. 1-2 against the Rays, and then they went 2-1 against the Tigers. Could have easily been a 1-5 week if it wasn't for that grand slam walk-off home run by Varsho against Tampa Bay. And then if Detroit wouldn't have been so terrible yesterday, or what am I saying, the day before, then maybe they would have gone 1-5, but those things didn't happen. Next, we got the Mariners. 3-1 against Houston. I was like, okay, this team's finally breaking through. Then they go and get clapped by the Padres. They played 6 games against the Padres this year, lost all of them. Like if the Mariners want to be World Series contender, you have to be beating teams like the Padres. You have to be beating teams that are on the Padres level. And you also have to be beating teams like the A's, which they didn't do the first time. You have to be winning those series. You also, the Mariners are just not playing well. You also have to win series against teams like the Yankees, who are conveniently number 8. You have to be winning series against the Yankees, and they don't do that. But the Yankees 1-2 against the New York Mets, and then they went 1-2 against Baltimore at the beginning of the week. Yankees, I think, 4 back at Tampa Bay, might be more than that, but I don't know if they have what it takes anymore. But at the same time, that's probably stupid by saying that. Next, we got the Cardinals. Cardinals 2-1 against Kansas City, and then they went 2-1 against the A's. That's who the A's played beginning of the week. Yeah, so the Cardinals are just getting series wins, and I love it. I love that the Cardinals are proving everyone wrong. I told everyone, I put in my predictions, yes, I put them, they'd go 73-89. It's kind of because when everyone was doing their predictions, I was like, oh, they suck. But I was just like, okay, I'm going to be a little more optimistic. People said that they're the worst in baseball, and I was like, I don't think they're that bad. And I actually said in my bold predictions that they could be a sleeper playoff pick. And guess what? They were. Next up, Milwaukee Brewers. 2-1 against the Twins. 2-1 against the Padres. The Brewers are firing on all cylinders right now. I don't love the Brewers. I don't hate them either. They're just like an average team for me. They're probably in the middle of the pack. But, yeah. Brewers are pretty good. Next, number 5. We got the Padres. Like I just said, 1-2 against Milwaukee. 3-0 against Seattle. 6-0 against the Mariners this year. Again, you have to be beating teams like the Mariners if you want to be a World Series contender. And they are. You also have to be beating teams like the Dodgers if you want to be, and the Braves. They don't do that much, so being enough, Dodgers number 4. People said last week I had them too low. and I might have. But they weren't that good. They didn't impress me this week that much. Didn't play that strong competition. 2-2 against San Francisco. Yikes. They're 3-4 against the Giants this year. And then, yeah, they clapped the Angels, but you should be clapping the Angels. My Mariners didn't. Yeah. But yeah. Number 3, we got the Cubs. I thought about putting them number 2, but I was just like, nah, they didn't play good enough. The Cubs went 1-2 against the White Sox, and then they went 1-2 against Atlanta. If they would have won that series over Atlanta, they probably would be first right now. Or second, I think, actually. I don't think I'd put them first. Number 2, probably the biggest surprise of the season. Clapping Baltimore right now, 8-1. We got the Rays. 2-1 against Toronto. 2-1 against Miami. Yeah, Miami isn't that good of an opponent. Is this going to hold? Nah, no. If I did midseason picks, which I'm actually going to do predictions for after May. So watch out for that video. But yeah, and number 1 might be the easiest number 1 of all time. They're like 33-14. Braves, 2-1 against the Cubs, 2-1 against Boston. Very good. They have only lost one series, and it was to the Seattle Mariners. But yeah, with that said, boys, thank you all for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 400 subs by mid-June. We're on a good pace. I'll see you next time. Bye.